Deadlock has received a new major update, and soon 6 brand new heroes will be stomping around the streets of the cursed apple, and one of them is already in-game. Introducing Mina, the new vampire that will be stalking the cursed apple and probably harassing you in your games of Deadlock, with a brand new kit featuring 4 very cool abilities, including Rake that allows her to hit enemies with her umbrella, building up her passive love bites. Similar to Mirage or Haze, Mina can build an on-proc effect that over time will pop and steal away HP. It will then go into a cooldown where it can't be used again. Mina's got a very interesting kit, also allowing a lot of movement and getaway potential, including her ultimate as well, which lets you cast down a rain of bats from above. You gain more bats every time Love Bites procs. But this is just the tip of the iceberg with this update. So let's get into Patch Notice and kick it off. As always, I'm your host Jacky, and I'm back breaking down the latest major Deadlock update, which is shipped on the 18th of August. Just a few days shy of Deadlock's first year anniversary that would have been the 23rd of August. Of course, as always when Valve drop a major update, I'm busy, so this will be a bit of a quicker patch notice with full before and after comparisons and all the nitty gritty details covered soon, as myself and Daisy are going to be away at Gamescom. For now though, let's focus up on some of the new important things. Mina, the Hideout, and the map changes. Starting off with the Hideout. As you can see with the B-roll that's playing behind me, Deadlock's look and feel has entirely changed. The way that you search for a game has been overhauled, and the way that you load in will instantly be here in your apartment that already has some shadowy figures peering over your shoulder. It seems like Valve have tried to tie in the entire theme of Deadlock being a living, breathing world and given you your own place to live in, which of course you can run around, search for games, watch matches, take in the amazing artwork, specifically one of my favourites, this cat with an eye patch, but there's even some really cool art that's been thrown in here, like this bit of lore that's just been slipped in that seems to be giving us a bit more insight into where exactly Mo and Krill came from. You've even got your own mantle place, which has souvenirs if you took part in the Christmas event last year. And of course, like I said, all the general menu features have been put into this location as well. You can even stand in front of the projector to block it, much like in Counter-Strike 2 on Office. You can see the teases and the voting ballot box where you can vote each week to try and get a new hero in the game, as Valve slowly rolls them out over the next few days based on community interaction and votes, which is a very cool way of doing it, meaning we will be getting 6 brand new heroes very soon. There's even more though, with the armory displaying clearly Valve's intention to add more customization, perhaps skins, new guns in the future. You've got physics as well, where either the cat will even interact with you and try and roll around on this ball in the back area of the hideout where you can practice against spawned in bots or use any of the normal features that you'd find in Sandbox, which is still here by the way. It attaches with a teleporter and you can just go straight there. The theme is on point, and even from the outside looking in, you can see that so much care and attention has been put into the hideout. And of course that new intro, that is actually physically rendered as well and is just part of the map. So you can fly around and check everything out from the perspective that Valve didn't want you to see. That has some interesting oddities, as you can see here, how they've set this all up and the forced perspective, and the fact that there is a bit of a sneak peek about Dorman already lying underneath the hideout. Clearly something tied with his character as well. As you can see, there's this shadowy pocket dimension at the bottom that would seem to be something related to that trickster. Of course, the map itself has also changed massively. You can see now we finally have a nice contrast between the Amber Hand and Sapphire Flame, where both of the bases have been given a bit of a visual retheme. There's also the Lolo Noir, the new bar that seems to have been replacing one of the older warehouses over on the Sapphire Green Lane side. So much of the map has been given a gigantic art pass in this update. It feels like Valve have been working on this forever. You can see all the attention that's gone into the new lighting, where they've lit all the interiors, added neon, multiple different light sources that seem to make the contrast look even easier to spot enemies, even though before we had broad daylight. You've also got these little elements where there's small buildings that have been crammed in and overthrown by all of the big expensive areas over on Sapphire's side of the map. And of course just the beautiful new assets and prefabs that have been put in that litter all over the Green Lane. Everything about this reeks of a palace and a very cool high-class area. Meanwhile, in the depths below of Park, you can also see that it's been entirely overhauled in mid-boss. brand new theme, new decals, new graffiti and mosaics that seem to be alluding to potentially New York sewer alligators, maybe the mid-boss redesign that's yet to come. And then of course, if we take another look at the big thing in the middle of the map, you can see a gigantic boat has arrived. Is it the Borealis? Who knows? But we do have a massive overhaul of York Lane. The entirety of it has been rethemed around the idea of a boat, a dock. You've got all these different industrial elements that have been added as well. So as much as Green Lane has got far more high class and overhauled to have that sort of high money feel, you can see here it's the working man's lane. There's lots of cool details that have been thrown in to show that off as well. All of the new assets over here are actually really wonderful to look at. I particularly enjoyed this part round by the Walker. There's lots of new jumps and different ways that you can navigate. It feels like Valve took a lot of time to look at what the gameplay elements of this area were and tie that into the visual retheme, bringing both of them massively up in class in the space of one update. It feels good to run around and navigate in these areas. It's fun to shoot, it's fun to bounce around, but it also looks very pretty now as well. So it's only a win-win, even with these more gameplay first areas of the map that have received a pass here. Even if they've not changed drastically visually, there's been some smaller changes as well across the map where Valve have tightened things up, made the game look nicer, and added whole new bits like this, where you can see we finally have what the block out of the bodega was for a good year and a half now. We can walk around inside it, see all the little Easter eggs, the lore and newspapers that have been littered throughout with even references to cheese and mystery gas leaks. Who knows what's going on in the cursed apple, but finally we're starting to get a bit of a look through the microscope and see potentially what could be to come in the future and what Valve might be up to, what's happening in these cursed streets. You can see they've also updated some of the smaller jungle camps around the map as well, with new lighting sources, new candles, new assets, specifically this florist as well that's been added over to Green Lane on the Amber Hand side. Every element just feels like it ties in so much better now. Deadlock's been given a paintbrush with a comic book ink, and it feels amazing the way the game now looks and feels. They also added an entire new area. The Baroness has expanded, they got planning permission, there's a Walter Fairfax statue, all these new areas to use bounce pads that have been added back in, opening up new navigation routes where they've completely changed the geometry of the map, adding a whole new area. Overall, it just feels like there is so much that you can now do in Deadlock with this update. Lots of new areas to explore your movement, tons of new heroes that are yet to come, all of these bells and whistles that feel like they're finally getting tightened up. A year on, and Deadlock looks incredibly distinguishable from the older version of the game that we had in such a short space of time. It's crazy just how much Valve have done here. You can also see some of these smaller areas that won't even get that much footpath traction, but like over on the yellow Walker side on York Lane, you can see they've completely redesigned this entire area as a massive bank. There's gold bars, money, loot boxes, all sorts to see. The map is littered with detailed, so I won't spoil them all. Get back out there, play some Deadlock. Now is the best time for it. Thanks for watching Patch Notice, and I'll see you soon once I'm back from Gamescom with so many more videos.